So let's go ahead and jump on into this. Okay. First up, this is coming from a news source I've never heard of. And this seems to be, from what I have seen and looked around, it seems pretty legit based on what we know from past history of what the administration is trying to do, along with other laws and bills that they've been trying to go along with, and kind of looking around at some of the other news that they got on there. They seem to be up to snuff. But this is the main source that said they got to look at a bill that the Biden administration is trying to put forth to speed up the transition for digital driver's licenses. So I'm just throwing it out there. This isn't necessarily a news source that I know, but from the stuff that I've looked at, I tend to believe what this says. And so, but again, do your own research. Don't take my word for it. Always be active in your own walk and in your own research as well. So let's go ahead and go with this. Coming from Notice. Says states are beginning to adopt digital driver's licenses. Biden may supercharge that transition. Says a draft executive order viewed by Notice shows how the Biden administration could reshape how Americans access government services and potentially behave online. I've got a lot to say about this. It says the Biden administration is laying the groundwork for wider acceptance of digital identifications like driver's licenses you can show on your smartphone, a push that could fundamentally reshape how citizens access everything from public benefits to even pornography online. A draft of a forthcoming executive order viewed by Notice pushes federal and state governments to speed adoption of smartphone-based mobile driver's licenses and ID options more widely, stating it is the policy of the executive branch to strongly encourage the use of digital identity documents. Such documents could be submitted digitally and, in combination with biometric scans like facial recognition, could help better verify online identity. The draft order, if implemented, could ostensibly address a growing problem. The government has, oh, here we go. We get the boo-hoo story. The government has lost billions of dollars in fraudulent claims. Oh my goodness. What are we going to do? I'm just crying tears over here. Oh, yeah, they want us to feel bad for the government losing all that money. Oh my goodness. Anyways, they always try and do that. It says it would also mandate federal agencies adopt a single government-run identity system, login.gov. I already know some of you guys are already having to use that gateway as a gateway to federal websites and offer that system to state and local governments for integration. Already, 13 states have rolled out some kind of mobile driver's license program, and more are working towards implementing a digital ID, but federal action pushing the transition has been delayed. Joe Biden first promised an executive order in his 2022 State of the Union address, but it has been stuck in a bureaucratic turf war over what it should include. 4 people familiar with the matter said the text of the executive order has been finalized, but the Biden administration was debating when to roll it out. One person obtained what they said was the final text of the order from a federal agencies this week and provided it to Notice. The second person confirmed that many of the provisions matched a summary that circulated among stakeholders within recent months, and that a draft provided to Notice incorporated some changes sought by agencies and industry. See, that's the thing, is usually when they have this stuff going on is they're still trying to make sure that they cover all their bases, not just in the government, like a lot of people think it is. Oh, the left and the right are fighting because the right doesn't want that much privacy gone in the left. It has nothing to do with that. No, it has to do with going to their banks, their bankers, going to their corporations, going to other industry leaders in order to confirm what they need in this bill as well. Keep that in mind. Whenever it comes to stuff like this, it is never the left-right disagreeing on this stuff. It has to do with making sure that they get all of this stuff covered from the people who are truly in control of the puppets that sit within Congress. So keep that in mind. And that's what's going on here, is they want to make sure that they got all the bases covered, from banks to corporations to industry, people like Amazon, Microsoft, IBM, people like that. That's who they're checking in with. So keep that in mind. Said a White House spokesperson said nothing is final until it's signed by the president. And it says a growing number of states are passing laws requiring age verification to view adult-themed websites or sign up for social media accounts, but few good solutions exist currently to implement those laws. The result is growing interest in creating a form of digital ID to use on the web, ending decades of a freewheeling internet architecture. It's not much freewheeling anymore, is it? In which, can't say it, being anonymous and age verification were largely on the honor system or reliant on low quality smartphone scans of physical driver's licenses. Today, physical licenses are fairly easy to forge. According to a notice review of dark web material provided by researchers, some in the industry who study identity theft, the development of AI deepfake technology, this is a big one, that allows criminals to hide their real faces when submitting forged or stolen documents to systems that require a selfie or online video has only accelerated the scale and the scope of identity theft. Last but not least, says the issue was accelerated during the pandemic when government agencies had to migrate many services that were previously in-person to web-based systems. This is, again, 2020 was not just about one or two individual things. We are seeing another repercussion because it had to do with the switch over to digital stuff. And so now we're seeing the same thing here where, well, because we're becoming more digital and everything is becoming more online, we got to be able to take away the privacy. And so we got to advance the digital ID. It's all wrapped up in the same thing, same package. The Government Accountability Office estimated that more than 100 billion, with a B, billion in fraudulent unemployment claims, again, we lost so much money, were paid out between March 2020 and March 2023, representing somewhere between 11% and 15% of all benefits paid out, though not all of it was through identity theft. Apple, Google, government agencies like the Transportation Security Administration, and state-level regulators who issue driver's licenses are all trying to build systems that would allow Americans to carry identity documents on their smartphones and frictionlessly, that's a very weird word to say, submit them to both government and private sector websites for verification with the tap of the button. Eat the bugs while you're at it. Okay. There's a lot here. We're going to go through it, though. So, like I said, I already addressed when it comes to the reason why it's not ruled out yet. They obviously they have to be able to work in conjunction with people like Apple and Google, along with people like Amazon and Microsoft and IBM and these other computing processing things. Even people like JP Morgan, which we understand JP Morgan is working on their own thing when it comes to the digital ID payment stuff. You see something like Visa, they got theirs going on. MasterCard's got theirs going on. And so they have to work with these people in order to make sure that they get everything that they need to for that bill in order to roll it out and make sure that it all runs. Again, it has nothing to do with left-right fighting over privacy stuff. And that's one of the things that I want to talk about. In this article, it specifically references states rolling out security measures to get into things like adult websites or even signing up for social media platforms and whatnot. I have warned about this. I warned about this like a year and a half ago, when people like Josh Hawley and some of the other right congressmen that many prophecy people love started coming out with things in order to protect the kids. We need to start doing online verification. And guess what? All of the right wingers started applauding and pumping their fists going, yeah, because they were pulling at the heartstrings of them saying it's for the kids. But ultimately, it has nothing to do with protecting the kids. It has to do with this. It's just their show pony way of introducing the digital ID. We want your privacy. We want to know who you are at all times online. Cannot hide yourself. Infrastructure. And they're using the heartstrings for whatever side it is. Left has their own values that they're throwing this stuff to on their side to make them on board for it. The right is doing the same thing when it comes to this. And this is exactly what I warned about when it comes to this technology. As I said, they're going to come after people for the values that they hold, and it's all going to be for the exact same agenda. The exact same agenda. They want digital IDs. So if you want to access anything online, you're going to have to verify who you are, and there's nothing you can do about it. They're just playing the game. It's the same piece of pie, but the left is introducing it with no Cool Whip, and the right is introducing it with some Cool Whip, but it's still the same pie. They're just being displayed in different ways. And so this is exactly what I've warned about when it comes to this. And so we've got the Biden administration here who is cooking stuff up behind to make this thing ramp up and start pushing into digital IDs even faster. Now, when it comes to things like the real ID and stuff like that, people ask me, well, what should I do? Well, it's ultimately your choice. You could go for it. The information that you're going to give them, they've already got anyways. As much as people don't like to hear that, they've got it anyways. So it's up to you if you want to give it up, or you could just take the risk and go throughout life without one. And hopefully if you drive and you don't get pulled over and you don't need an ID for anything, that's ultimately your choice. So I can't tell you what to do on that. That's a personal decision that you got to do. So it's up to you. But ultimately it's not going to matter for much longer because the goal is to just switch it over into the digital ID system anyways. What is it? What was the other thing? Hold on. There was another point I wanted to make and I forgot it. I didn't write it down. I can't remember. See, this is what happens when I don't write stuff down, guys. This is why I got a notebook. Then I got to sit here and look like a dummy while I'm trying to remember what I was going to say. And I'm just randomly talking into the microphone to keep you guys entertained. I'm trying to figure it out. I can't remember. Oh, the AI stuff. That's right. Okay, I see it. The AI stuff. See, this is a part of the other agenda that they're trying to do, is because when they continue to roll out more and more AI stuff that continues to get heavy into the deep fake. Again, I've talked about this before. I've shown some stuff. You just can't tell what's real and fake anymore. Now, there's some stuff you can, a lot of it you can still, because the lighting and the shading, you can kind of see. It's not as easy as it was where you just look at the hands and stuff. But still, when it comes to the video and stuff, we can't trust any of that. And the thing is they are using this AI stuff to commit stuff, problems like this, where submit a picture of who you are along with your document, but they can just do an AI fake of that, even AI video for the live selfie, where you actually have to take like a short little video of who you are to determine. You can still use the fake AI stuff for it. And I've even talked about how they've got programs out there where they used an AI voice modulator to make it sound like somebody's daughter was kidnapped and they needed money in order to get their daughter back. And it was all AI done. And when the mother actually called the daughter, she was perfectly fine, had no idea what was going on because it was a program. So when you introduce that much of that technology, well, obviously they're going to need to figure out a way to take more of your privacy and more of your data to make it so it's more secure. It's all in the name of safety and security, but ultimately this is what's going on. And of course, who's one of the people that's leading the charge about this? Well, it's everybody's favorite free speech warrior, Elon Musk. Excuse me for this one, but I still see people in the prophecy community promoting and supporting Elon Musk because he's Mr. Free Speech. He's not. You know how many people have been banned and are being banned on Twitter even to this day? But they completely ignore everything else that he's doing. We know about Neuralink, which he's not the first to do that. I've made this point before because I know people still get excited whenever there's any information about Neuralink. It's like, oh, could just be, and I'm like, I just did a thing on the Cyber series on the MK Ultra thing. They were working on that back in the 60s. He's not new. It's just because his name is attached to it. Is it bad? It's still bad. He wants to stick chips in people's brains. But then he's got stuff like the CureVac. We know CureVac has to do with, it's a 2020 stuff printer for printing things, you know. Can't say it because I'm on YouTube. But he's also got his AI stuff that he's working on. Also, did you know in order to get verified and paid for Twitter stuff, you have to upload your ID and bank account information in order to do that? What makes that any different than what they're trying to do with all this stuff? It doesn't. Again, this is the case of why on earth is it different for this guy, even though he's doing the exact same stuff as the globalist? What makes him so different? Because he's standing there on his keyboard typing for free speech, and he's for this, and he's pro-Trump, and that makes him okay, even though he's doing the exact same stuff that the globalists want to do. Why is that so different? I still cannot understand the disconnect there. Like, I just don't get it. I still see people promoting this guy. And I see it all over the place. And I posted this on my Telegram, but I wanted to throw it up on here too, where you've got two of the fringe right guys who have made their pro-Trump, anti-left, and they put some information out that looks good. It's truthful, but ultimately they're there just to kind of keep the left-right paradigm war going on. The Hodge twins and Ian Carroll. But it says, Hodge twins, y'all realize we wouldn't have free speech online if Elon Musk didn't buy Twitter, right? And then this guy says, genuinely might have been the most important chess move for freedom in my lifetime. What are you, 3 years old? Like, that's how shallow the pool is when it comes to this. And then, of course, you got the lizard people. It says, when remember then we made the brain chip guy their new hero? It's because it's this display that's being put on. I kind of talked about this last Tuesday when I went over the Telegram guy who has connections to the WEF, being a young global leader. Now, again, I'm not planting my flag saying he's good or bad or anything like that. But from the stuff that I've seen, I can't trust the guy. It's the same thing with Elon Musk. How can I trust this guy? Because he's sitting there going pro free speech. This is another one of those distraction things along with the politics that's going on. It's very much an agenda that's being done. I'm not saying that it's some fake thing of censorship online. It's absolutely getting done, but it's being so broadcast and so pushed to the front of the pack now that if anybody says something in favor of it, they ignore everything going on behind the person because it's just that one thing that they're keying in on. And when it comes to digital ID and this agenda for the AI and all this stuff, he's very much on board with it. But yet people are completely forgetting that. Keep in mind, this dude still has his profile picture of him wearing the Satan suit from that Halloween. Another one of these things that's going on with this is the anti-immigration position will milk this with everything they've got. Now, this is another situation of problem, reaction, solution. They've created an immigrant problem, and so they are going to react to it by giving a solution that has to do with putting in facial recognition, digital IDs, and AI tracking systems. So what we've got, and I talked about this, I think this was 2 Tuesdays ago, about how they want to turn on the facial recognition and AI aging program for immigrant children coming over the border so they can keep track of them. And doesn't matter if it's been several years, they're going to use this AI program in order to age up the person in order to verify if that's the right person. They want to do this. Guess who else wants to do the exact same thing? Don't make me say it. Donald Trump wants to do the exact same thing. Now, this is the perfect thing because when you look at it, you go, he's just trying to defend the border. Cool. But the problem is the technology and the tools that he wants to put in is not just going to be used for the border. It's going to be used everywhere because he wants a biometric facial recognition visa tracking system for all people coming in and out of the country. He said that on his last platform. And we look at it and go, it's just for the immigration thing. But I'm seeing you go throughout history, anytime they implement this type of stuff, it's not just for the thing that they say it's for. It ends up getting thrown onto everybody. And it's the same thing here. He's for the exact same technology and agenda as what the Biden administration is doing with this. I can guarantee you, if he gets in, this thing that Biden is doing, whether it goes online or not, will not go away. It will still get pushed through. He won't cancel it. And so it's the same thing with all this technology. And it's we've seen it progress. We've seen it progress. It doesn't matter who's in there. The agenda is going to go forward. Why? Because it's all one big giant show, and it's all to get this stuff going forward. And that includes the digital ID as well as the CBDC and all this stuff. Again, he's for the exact same program as the left is for theirs. It's just one piece of pie doesn't have whipped cream, the other does. It's still the same stuff. Not to mention, we understand that he's got his Silicon Valley techno bros of Vance Teal and Eric Schmidt, of course, that are all on board because why? They created this stuff. They funded this stuff. And they're on board. Elon Musk has even come out and said, I'm open for a position on the Trump administration. Wonder why that is. Because digital enslavement is the focus. The agenda is still the same, but we're just being distracted by piñatas and confetti of the left-right show being put in front of us. And it's just, it's hard. It's hard because I continue to see people that just absolutely refuse to not even just see this stuff, but they don't even want to talk about it. They just don't want to talk about it. Why? Because that would be damaging for the agenda that they have of pushing for their political pundit, their political puppet, so to say.